Before we begin, let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever seen someone with talent, opportunity, and intelligence slowly destroy their own progress? Not because they lacked ability, but because they stopped listening, stopped learning, and started believing too much in their own importance. That quiet force behind such stories is ego. Welcome to Booksbell. Today we are discussing the book Ego is the Enemy, written by Ryan Holiday. This book is not about confidence or ambition in the usual sense. It is about how ego interferes with learning, distorts success, and makes failure far more painful than it needs to be. In this summary, we will explore how ego appears at different stages of life, how it blocks real progress, why it creates false confidence, and how discipline and humility offer a more reliable path forward. The central idea is simple but uncomfortable. Ego is the internal need to feel important, superior, or already accomplished. It is not self-belief, it is self-obsession. Ego tells us that we are special, that rules apply to others, and that our potential matters more than our preparation. At the beginning of any journey, ego often hides behind ambition. It convinces people that having big dreams is the same as doing real work. Many talk about what they are going to become instead of focusing on what they need to learn. Ego prefers recognition over mastery and visibility over competence. Real progress is slow and often invisible. It requires admitting ignorance, accepting criticism, and repeating basic tasks without applause. Ego resists this phase because it feels humiliating. It wants to skip steps and jump straight to admiration. That is why many people chase attention before they have earned expertise. When ego is present early on, learning becomes selective. People only accept information that flatters them. Feedback feels unnecessary. Advice feels insulting. Over time, this creates a dangerous gap between how capable someone thinks they are and how capable they actually are. As people achieve some success, ego changes its behavior. It no longer talks about potential, it starts talking about identity. Success becomes part of who someone believes they are. Titles, praise, and authority begin to feel permanent. Ego whispers that what worked once will always work again. This is where growth quietly stops. Curiosity fades, listening decreases, criticism is dismissed. Instead of asking how to improve, people ask how to protect what they have. Image becomes more important than substance. Ego also creates dependency on validation. Instead of measuring progress by quality of work, people measure it by reactions. Attention becomes addictive. Comparison becomes constant. This leads to anxiety, distraction, and eventually dissatisfaction even in success. Another illusion ego creates is control. When things go well, ego takes full credit. It ignores timing, luck, help from others, and external factors. This inflated sense of control encourages risky decisions and overconfidence. When conditions change, ego struggles to adapt. Then comes failure. Failure itself is not destructive. Ego makes it destructive. When identity is tied to success, failure feels personal. Instead of learning, ego defends. It blames circumstances, people, or systems. Responsibility is avoided because it threatens self-image. Handled correctly, failure is information. It reveals weaknesses clearly. It forces reflection. It teaches humility. But this requires separating self-worth from outcomes. Ego refuses to make that separation, which is why failure becomes so emotionally overwhelming. Humility is not weakness or lack of confidence, it is clarity. It allows people to see reality without distortion. Humility keeps learning alive regardless of success or failure. It accepts that improvement is always possible. Discipline plays a crucial role here. Discipline focuses on process rather than emotion. It shows up even when motivation fades. Ego is reactive. Discipline is deliberate. Ego wants comfort and recognition. Discipline accepts discomfort and repetition. Another key idea is restraint. Ambition without restraint becomes recklessness. Confidence without restraint becomes arrogance. Restraint keeps success sustainable by preventing excess and encouraging patience. Leadership reveals ego very clearly. Ego-driven leadership seeks admiration and control. It avoids accountability and shifts blame. Effective leadership, in contrast, is rooted in service. It prioritizes mission over ego, outcomes over image, and responsibility over praise. There is also power in anonymity. When recognition is removed, motivation becomes internal. Work continues because it matters, not because it is being watched. Ego struggles in silence. Discipline thrives there. One of the most important lessons is that ego never disappears permanently. It returns at every stage, during ambition, during success, and during failure. Awareness is the only defense. Regular self-examination keeps ego from quietly taking control again. Long-term success depends less on brilliance and more on endurance. Ego is impatient. It wants results now. Discipline understands time. It builds slowly and lasts longer. True confidence is quiet. It does not need constant affirmation. Real strength is shown through consistency, not performance. Progress belongs to those who remain teachable. The most dangerous moment is believing you have arrived. Growth ends the moment learning stops. Ego convinces people they are finished products. Reality rewards those who stay students. In the end, ego promises protection but delivers vulnerability. It inflates confidence while weakening foundations. Humility and discipline may feel uncomfortable, but they create resilience, adaptability, and clarity. Most people are not defeated by external enemies. They are undone by the internal voice that refuses correction, rejects reality, and demands importance without effort. That is why ego is not a companion on the path to growth. It is the enemy.